All right, we're going to get started with our board meeting. Today is Wednesday, November 2nd, 2022. And let's get started with the invocation and the pledge by Mr. Henry J.
Thank you, President. In the name of the Father, Son, Holy Spirit, amen. Loving and merciful God, we're grateful for another opportunity to gather together to do the work of our beloved school district. Allow the business we conduct here tonight to reflect your kingdom. Breathe life into our ideas and decisions, and help us to build a team with love and respect at its heart. May we be a shining example of your truth and magnificent beauty. Further, grant us the humility to seek your will in all that we do and say. We ask all of this in your holy name. Amen.
Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Superintendent, how about the roll call?
Ms. Babin?
Here.
Ms. Bell?
Here.
Ms. Thomas?
Here.
Ms. Petita?
Here.
Ms. Udrich? Here. Dr. Giat? Ms. Bourgeois?
Here.
Ms. Robichaud?
Here.
Mr. Schwest? Here. Mr. Blazons? Here. Mr. Duplantis? Here. Mr. LaFont?
Here.
Mr. Orchard?
Here.
Mr. Bernard? Here. Mr. Adams?
Here.
You have a quorum.
Thank you, sir. Number 2, introduce new administrators. I'll give that to you, sir.
Yes, sir. We have with us tonight, somewhere lost in this big crowd that we have, new Assistant Principal, WS Department, Ms. Celeste Blazons. Ms. Celeste Blazons.
Thank you, Superintendent Martin and members of the board for this opportunity to serve the students of WS LaForgue Elementary. I look forward to continuing to work alongside Mrs. Tozan to be the leaders of the school and make WS LaForgue the great school that we know.
Thank you.
Okay, moving on down the list, LaFouche Parish School District Staff and Group Recognition. That would be the employee and student recognition. And I've asked Ms. Petita to work with our superintendent and handing out these awards. Thank you, sir.
I'm sorry.
Okay, the first recognition tonight goes to one of our employees. This is to recognize the employee who has fulfilled all Louisiana State Certification Program requirements for a certified administrative assistant. This is the secondary and secondary schools that works closely with the director, Mr. Kenny Duckham, so she certainly earns her money every day. We're very proud of finishing this program. Miss Wendy Robertson, come on up. Very good. Congratulations.
Mindy, you gonna talk?
Miss Mindy is the biggest fear of public speaking here.
Mr. Martin, we do have some information about Ms. Robertson's award, if you'd like me to read about it.
Please.
All right, well, here we go. It's with pleasure that we do recognize Ms. Mindy this evening. The Louisiana Institute for Administrative Assistance Committee requires the following be met in order to attain the Certified Administrative Assistant designation. The applicant must be currently employed as an administrative, secretarial, clerical, or related position in Louisiana on a full or part-time basis. The applicant must be employed with the same agency or business for at least 2 calendar years at the time of the certification. And the applicant must earn a total of 100 education points and 50 experience points. Once the above requirements are met, candidacy is formally established upon the receipt of the completed application. And it is, again, like I said, with great pleasure. I've had the pleasure of working with Miss Mindy. She is an amazing worker, and she is here this evening with her mother and her 2 children. So again, if y'all don't mind, congratulations, Miss Mindy.
Okay, the first students that we're going to recognize this evening, we're going to recognize 2 students that were selected as semifinalists for the National Merit Scholarship Program. This program is an annual academic competition for recognition and college scholarships. Students entered the National Merit Program by taking the PSAT and scoring in the top 1% in their state. More than 16,000 students from across the country qualified as semifinalists and have earned the opportunity to advance in the competition. 2 of our students from Lafourche Parish have earned the right to continue on in this competition, where they may be named as finalists and receive merit-based scholarships. The first student to be recognized from Central Lafourche High School is Ms. Kara Plaisance.
Congratulations. Last year.
Our second Lafourche student from Thibodeau High School, Ms. Grace Ridgway.
Congratulations.
This next group of students was selected to Louisiana Bandmasters Association All-State Wind Ensemble. From the Rose Cutoff Middle School, Michaela Bienvenu. From the Rose Cutoff Middle School, Ms. Haley Antrell. From the Rose Cutoff Middle School, Drew Como. From Bayou Blue Middle School, Brennan Dagg. From Sixth Ward Middle School, Madeline Domain. From Bayou Blue Middle School, Nathan Gautreaux. From the Rose Cutoff Middle School, Chloe Hartman. From LCO Middle School, Ethan Jarrow. From Sixth Ward Middle School, Quinn Nichols. From Lockport Middle School, Jose Pacheco. From Golden Meadow Middle School, Eileen Pineda Valencia. And from 6th Ward Middle School, Elise Tamplane. This next group of students was selected to the Louisiana American Choral Directors Association All-State Children's Choir. From Lockport Middle School, Aubrey Broom.
Got it?
From Bayou Blue Middle School, Tierran Francis. From Lockport Middle School, Haley Rodriguez. This next student was selected to the Louisiana American Choral Directors Association All-State Youth Mixed Choir. From Raceland Middle School, Leanne Rios. This student was selected to the Louisiana American Choral Directors Association.
Oh, let's see what you do here.
Do you want to take a picture in her behalf?
Okay, the following student was selected to the Choral Directors Association All-State Women's Choir. And from Central Lafourche High School, that is Veronica Galliano.
You're gonna go to rest of the room while the other kids.
Good job. He's gonna prop her in. Show her that.
We'll pop into her class tomorrow.
The following students were selected to the Louisiana Music Educators Association All-State Treble Choir. From South Lafourche High School, Marianne Ferreira. From Central Lafourche High School, Miss Veronica Galliano. And from South Lafourche High School, Adalie Vaughn. Okay, this next group of students was selected to the Louisiana Music Educators Association All-State Concert Band. From Central Lafourche High School, Landon Berg.
Get down with your land. As tall as I am.
1, 2, 3. Very good.
Congratulations.
From Central Lafourche High School, Sarah Foray. From Central Lafourche High School, Valerie Galliano. From Central Lafourche High School, Mark Plazos. And from Central Lafourche High School, Evan Samini.
All right, that's all yours, man. Wait, I got her on a bad look. Get back. 1, 2, 3.
See, he's still got his Halloween mischief in.
Yeah, that's all.
The following students were selected to the Louisiana Music Educators Association All-State Mixed Choir. From Central Lafourche High School, Jenna Garner.
You're gonna be passing out all those tomorrow.
Do you want another thing?
And also from Central Lafourche High School, Annalise Rios Gonzalez.
Got it? Get him out. Get him out.
All right, this group of students was selected to the Louisiana Music Educators Association All-State Symphonic Band. From Central Lafourche High School, Colin Acosta. From Central Lafourche High School, Evan Dufresne. From Central Lafourche High School, Jairus False. From Central Lafourche High School, Molly Freeman. From Thibodeau High School, Dawson Green. From Central Lafourche High School, Natalie Horman. From Central Lafourche High School, Travis Malbrew. From Central Lafourche High School, Sammy Petrie.
Trying to get the best spot.
From Central Lafourche High School, Adam Samini. From Central Lafourche High School, Isaiah Staples.
Got everyone with Snowden?
Oh, we got two more. We got two more that just popped in. So we'd like to recognize a student from the Louisiana Bandmasters Association All-State Wind Ensemble, Michaela Bienvenue of LCO Middle School. And then from Golden Mata Middle School, Eileen Pineda Valencia.
Okay, so I tell you what, we've had such a good music program in Lafourche Parish for so long that we often take it for granted. And our band directors and our teachers, our families and our students, they have just done tremendous work over the last 10 to 20 years to elevate our program to levels that are really unheard of around the state. Unless you're here, you don't really understand how good our music programs are. And it takes a family to make this happen. All the props and all the stuff and all the things that go on to make this happen. I know it takes more than just the children and the directors to make that possible. So I want to thank all the families for supporting music in Lafourche Parish, for supporting your kids, and making all of this magic happen. So you get a bite to eat. Enjoy your evening, and if you want to watch a school board meeting, stay put. If not, have a great night. Thank you for what you're doing. Thank y'all.
And students, we will continue. Number 3, approval of board consent agenda. With the board permission, we'll read all, and then I'll ask for a motion. Letter A, approval of board consent agenda items. Letter B, minutes of regular board meeting held Wednesday, October 5th, 2022. C, observance proclaimed by Lafourche Parish School Board Family Engagement Month in the state of Louisiana, November 2022. Do we have a motion to that effect? So moved. Second, Mr. Chuess. Any board discussion? I'd like simply to say that this is really the literacy month, and we continue to collaborate with our families to help children read, and it's very encouraging. All we have to do is look at our fourth graders, and they rate on the nation's report card very high. And at this time, we do have a blue card. Okay, Ms. Marlboro? Come on up, please.
I'll try to talk loudly. I'm
Okay,
just getting my voice back.
let me just say this, comments relative to the agenda item, 5 minutes. Please state your name, address, and public comments.
My name is Jamie Marlborough, 116 CLS Lane, Lockport. This is pertinent to the proclamation that you have in 3C. Today was a sad day. We laid a child to rest. A young life was taken from the world before she had the chance to be successful, productive, and make conscientious choices. Every night since, I became aware that there are drugs in our community that our children are getting their hands on. I have prayed for this board to have the courage to educate parents and bring awareness to all the parents in their school district that we are no longer sheltered from the problems the rest of the country is facing. Although the child did not get the drugs from a school bathroom, there are children that have been rushed to the hospital recently that have. The governor's proclamation says that you need partnerships with families and the communities you serve. A partnership where I feel we as families can be heard, where we can come here and speak freely on the record to make you aware of what we are facing as a community, and we can listen to how you can help us. A mother had asked to speak on this agenda over a week before a student in our school district overdosed. She had no malice in her heart. She did not blame the principals because she knows that they cannot tackle this without a partnership with the parents. Her heart wanted to educate you to what happened to her son, to educate the community. Our children are no longer safe. Our children are getting their hands on drugs. She so badly wanted to work with you so no mother would have to go through what she did, or even worse, but she was not allowed to speak or be placed on this agenda. It was said recently that if we don't know, how can we fix it? Well, now we know, and it will take a village. It means heeding the warnings and being proactive. Allow our parents to walk the halls and be on campus. Educate them and listen when they educate you. Partner with the moms that have been labeled that mom or the mama bears, because they will be your loudest advocates and loyal to getting a message out to protect our children. We parents know that you cannot do it alone, and we want to be a part of the process. We want to be heard. We want to be on the campus to be engaged. You need our help as we need yours, because our children are dying. We all want our children to be successful, productive, and conscientious in the choices they make. That requires true partnerships with truthful dialogue and a voice for change. To say no more, not here, not another child. Our community leaders need to be partners with parents, and we need to take a stand for our children. And all of you out there that are peddling drugs to our children, you are now put on notice. The mama bears of this community are aware, and they are watching and laying in wait. And to this board, may God bless you and grant you the courage to remove the chains that have kept you silent. Thank you.
Thank you. Again, this is the Pooch Parish School Board Literacy Month and Family Engagement Month. So thank you, and any other comments by the board? If not, let's move on. I'm sorry, let's vote, please. All those, I'm sorry, you'll be on the screen. Okay, it's unanimous, thank you. We'll go on from there. Number 4, approval of Finance Committee recommendations as per meeting held Wednesday, October 19th, 2022. Mr. Buttery.
All right, A, to award the lowest, most responsible bidder, CNB Computers, for refurbished laptop and desktop computers. So moved.
Do we have a second? Dr. Giat. Any discussion by the board? Any discussion from the public? Not, let's vote, please. All right, unanimous, thank you. Second one is to adopt a resolution.
Item B.
I'm sorry.
It's okay.
Item B, to adopt a resolution. Rick. I'm sorry, Rick.
It's okay. Item B, to adopt a resolution ordering and calling special elections to be held in the parish of Lafourche, state of Louisiana, for school purposes, to authorize the levy of sales and use tax therein, and to consolidated school district number 1 of the parish of Lafourche, state of Louisiana, to authorize the rededication and extension of an ad valorem tax therein, making application to the State Bond Commission and providing for other matters in connection therewith. So moved.
Do we have a second? Yes. Any discussion? Any discussion on this? Ms. Tatum?
Yes, I just want to mention that, or say that this was explained very, very well to the Finance Committee, and the board is well aware of what all of this says. So I just want to let the public know that this has been discussed.
Any other discussion by the board?
Just to point out that this is being done, it's dovetailed with the parish council tax issue that they have proposed. We're basically riding on the coattails of what they wish to do. They're moving some taxes, they're removing some taxes. We're kind of picking up a little bit of it so we can fund teacher pay raises. That's the bottom line.
Any other discussion by the board? I'm sorry. Yes, that's what.
Just to carry on with what Mr. Blutery is saying, is that this isn't really increasing taxes, it's just shifting taxes. And it's allowing our teachers to get a pay raise, and if we delay it, it delays the pay raise. So we're trying to help them get the benefits they need, and that's what this board is trying to do.
Any other discussion? Let me just say this, that basically in a nutshell, it lowers the parish government's solid waste tax collection by 0.4%, increases the school board by 0.1%, therefore both of them are equal, so it's 4 mills that we presently use now will go from safety in the school system, by which we just about taken care of that, and that will go switch over to teacher, not teacher, but employee benefits. And that will equate to a $4,000 teacher raise and a $2,000 employee raise. So it's simple when you break it down like that. Mr. Boutery, I was so excited about it, I just couldn't wait to read it. So, I'm sorry. Any other board comments? Any other comments from the public? If not, let's vote. Oh, I'm sorry.
Brett Smith, 601 Evergreen Street, Thibodaux, Louisiana. I know you say it's not a tax increase, but if you realize you're putting yourself, the school board, within the whole parish scheme, right? And I've sat there and watched Archie's presentation to the council. You add the tax to Thibodaux, it goes to 9.4. Then if Thibodaux adjoins the road tax, then we're looking at 10.3. Sorry, 9.8, sorry. And then you're looking at 10.3 with the road tax. He even says it in his speech, he has to get legislative approval because it's over the 5%. All right? Other thing too is if Thibodaux joins the trash, that's another 0.3%. So now we're talking about 10.6 cents in Thibodaux. That's my constituents. And Randy, I understand it's a no-brainer because you get the half cent off at Matthews with the road tax. But I just feel that if this all goes to plan, depending on who the mayor is in Thibodaux, this could end up being Thibodaux being 10.6 cents per sales tax. So you're trying to say it's not really increase, but it will be. 9.4 plus the 0.4 is 9.8, plus the 0.5 for the road tax is 10.3, plus the 0.3 for the trash, 10.6. Last thing I want to say, February 17th, February 1st, 2017, you'll propose the 1 cent tax. Many of you were voted on here because of this 1 cent tax that failed. At the bottom here it says, but excluded salaries of the school superintendent and school board members. Why isn't that on our new proposal? And I know you can't answer, it's a rhetorical question, right? But why isn't that on this proposal when 4 years ago this was a massive issue? Massive issue, and that's why it failed. Last thing I'm going to say, I just hope the teachers are ready. And that's my biggest fear, because I went through it the last time it failed. And Archie hadn't even started speaking on that, and the Facebook messages come up. Governor Edwards already passed the state bill earlier this year in state senate to give teachers pay increase. You are greedy, Archie. So I just hope you're ready to shelter our teachers, because the last time this happened, it was very hurtful, all right, and it hurt a lot of people because it didn't pass. A lot of friendships were ended. I just hope somehow, some way, we can cover our teachers with this, because you're saying it's just 4 cents. No, we're part of the whole big scheme now of changing the whole tax reform, all right? And if you're not looking at it like that, I don't know. All right. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Any other comments? Yes, Mr. Allen?
I'm just very excited that finally we've got our governmental entities in LaFouche Parish working together for a common goal. And I don't know if you have at any time, are you going to have a proposal that's, especially if you are increasing taxes, that's going to be favorable. But I do know this, our teachers and school employees need and deserve an increase. And if we continue to fall behind, it's going to create some greater problems for us. But again, like I said, I am excited to see our government entities working together for one common goal. And I hope that we can get, the support of the public so that we can give our school employees a much needed tax. Much needed raise, excuse me.
One thing I learned by being on this board is that how are we losing great qualified employees of this parish to our neighboring parishes because we can't compete. We can't compete with the money. We can't compete with the benefits. And like Mr. Adams said, for once we have the parish, the assessor, the school board, everybody working together to put this school district on an even playing field with the school districts surrounding us, so we can keep these people here. That's all we're trying to do. That's all we're trying to do. We're trying to keep the best of the best in LaFouche Parish. We don't want them to go to Terrebonne. We don't want them to go to St. Charles. We don't want them to go to Assumption. We want them to stay here. That's all we're trying to do. That's all we're trying to do. We're trying to look after our kids by giving them the best they can get to educate them. That's all we're trying to do.
Thank you, Mr. Wilson. Any other comments, please? Come on up, please.
Jamie Marble, 116 CLS Lane, Lockport. Y'all talked about wanting to do the best. There used to be a prestige about working in the school district. 5 years ago, you couldn't get a job here because nobody wanted to leave. And now we can't keep them. The teachers aren't just leaving to go to other districts to make more money. They're leaving the profession altogether because they don't feel supported. You can Google that. That is a complete truth. That is a national average. And I can tell you this, that a lot of them are leaving because the amount of paperwork they have, the time they're spending after school doing paperwork, 3 hours a day after school, 4 to 8 hours on the weekends. There's no perks to teaching anymore. I can promise you, my daughter doesn't want a pay raise. She wants to stay in Lafourche. She's okay with her salary. She wants less paperwork so she can be a mother one day and not have to say, do I need to quit Lafourche Parish School Districts because I have too much paperwork and can't be a mom and the perks of teaching come with it? Or do I want to stay in the school district that's going to have my back and that's going to support me? And that has been consistent with many teachers I've talked to. They love working in this district. They love their children, but they want better environments. They want the prestige back to our district, and that falls on y'all. It should not fall on the backs of taxpayers. So that's all I got to say, because it's not always all about money, y'all.
Thank you. All right, with that
Mr.
said-
President, one last thing.
Mr. LaFawn.
I agree with Ms. Marlboro, it's not all about money, but money does make a difference. And the people I've talked to, the people that have left to go teach at Grand Isle High School, that teach at other schools, is because of the money. And I look at all the kids we recognize it, month after month after month after month. This school district is doing something right. And the employees here are doing something right. That's all I have to say.
Thank you. Ms. Goodrich.
I don't know what we can do about the amount of paperwork and the amount of regulatory compliance that comes down from the State Department of Education, from the federal government, but we can do something about pay, and that's what we're trying to do here, period.
Ms. Goodrich.
I know shouldn't ask questions when you come up here because it's not a town hall meeting, but I'd like to address Mr. Smith. The sales tax cannot do anything for the school board members or the superintendent. No matter how much the sales tax is, only way for us to get more money is we have to vote for it ourselves. And the only way for Mr. Martin to get more money is for the school board to vote for his contract to be increased. So the sales tax, even though it said that last time, it really has nothing to do with the money that you see around this table. I just wanted to let you know that.
Thank you, Ms. Goodrich. All right, with that said, let's vote, please. Okay. All right, with that over with, let's go to number 5, approval of land and facilities management committee recommendations as per meeting held Wednesday, October 19, 2022. Mr. Plaisance.
8, to accept the change order request for 8 additional days to the new Thibodeau Middle School contract due to inclement weather for the month of September 2022. So moved.
We have a second. Ms. Bourgeois. Any discussion by the board? Any discussion by the public? Not, let's vote, please. Yeah, all right, let's go on to B.
B, to accept the change order request to demolish and rebuild the canopy at the Rose Cutoff Middle School for the total amount of $74,521. So moved.
Second, please, Mr. LaFawn. Next by the board. Public, let's vote. Let us see, sir.
C, to accept the change order request for security upgrade phase 6 for an additional $945 for the cost of materials. So moved.
Second, please, Mr. Shues. Comments from the board, comments from the public. Let's vote, please. Unanimous. Letter D, sir.
E, to accept the bid of $550 annually from Rowdy Danos for campsite lease on section 16, township 19S, range 22E, Bayou Raphael area. So moved.
Second, please. Bell? Any discussion by the board? By the public? All right, vote please. Unanimous. Letter E, sir.
E, to accept the bid of $500 annually from KRHC LLC for campsite lease on section 16, township 19S, range 23E, Kings Ridge area. So moved.
Do I have a second? Ms. Babin? Any board comments? Any public comments? All right, let's vote please. Unanimous. Letter F, sir.
F, to accept the low bid from Freetown Builders LLC in the amount of $597,000 for the Hurricane Ida permanent repairs to W.S. LaForge Elementary School. So moved.
Data? Comments by the board? Comments by the public? Vote please. Letter G.
G, to accept the low bid from Tash LLC in the amount of $440,000 with the alternate number one in the amount of $40,000 for Hurricane Ida repairs for the Professional Learning Center and Tip Center. So moved.
Second, please. Paul, comments board? Comments public? Vote. Letter H, sir.
H, to accept the low bid from Forey Contracting Group in the amount of $103,500 for the vertical lift at Thibodeau Elementary School. So moved.
Yes, second. Comments? On board?
I'd like to say,
Mr. Cleveland.
thank you, Mr. President. It is very good to see bids coming back on permanent repairs to our schools. It's been very slow. Of course, we're 14 months later, but it's happening, and it's going to continue to keep happening month after month. So this is very positive to see for our school district. We're definitely moving in the right direction, finally. Thank you.
Any other comments? Any comments from the public? Ms. White, please. All right, with that out the way, let's go to number 6, new business. Start with letter A, to consider approving 2022-2023 personnel evaluation program. Mr. Lee.
Yes, sir. Good evening, Superintendent Martin, President Bernard. Annually, we come before you to propose our personnel evaluation program for each year. There are really minor changes this year, just the date, president, and there's a couple of positions that are no longer being filled in the district, so we removed those from the plan. Other than that, it's pretty much the same.
So moved, Ms. Bourgeois. Do we have a second? Mr. Adams. Any discussion by the board on this personnel evaluation program? Any discussion by the public? Let's vote, please. Letter B, to consider requests from I-5 to waive rental fees for the use of Thibodeau High School auditorium for the Get HYPE event. Do you have someone in the audience to speak to that? Okay, sir? Please state your name and
Jonathan Terrell, 291 Klein Peter Drive in Thibodeau.
the floor is yours.
Yes, so High Five Inc. is an after-school program, and we wanted to give back to the community. So HYPE is how you prepare every day, and it's a group out of Lafayette, New Iberia area that's coming down. And so what we were asking is for we're opening up K-8 for all of Lafourche Parish. And we wanted to use the auditorium at Thibodeau High School to be able to do it. They come in, they do all kind of motivational stuff for these kids from K-8. We watched a video on them, got in touch with the young man, I say young man, but the two fellows that started the group. They go all over Acadia Parish and all over the state. And so wanted to get an opportunity. It costs about $600. High Five wanted to give back to everybody in the Lafourche Parish because of what everybody has done for High Five. So, that's it.
A motion by Dr. Guillot, a second. Ms. Babin, comments, Ms. Boudreaux.
I just have a question. Will there be a charge for the children to go?
No, ma'am, no charge. So on November 3rd, 5 to 6 o'clock.
Okay. Mr. Peter?
I just want to thank High Five for the things that they do for the youth in our school district. Those are the type of programs that we need for our students. At the end of the day, instead of going home to nobody, they have a place that they can have mentors and help. And I really appreciate what High Five does, and I'm very excited to be able to vote for this program. This is the second year you do it, right?
So this is the first year that we do the HYPE. Yes, okay. Yes, ma'am.
Mr. Goodrich.
For those of you who may not know, Mr. Terrell is the athletic director at Nichols. And as if he doesn't have enough to do, he has time to give back to the community. Thank you for doing that.
Thank you. Any other comments?
Same here.
Mr. Archer?
Yes, thank you, Mr. President. Of course, Mr. Holiday had a chance to review and good on the insurance clearances and everything.
Yes, sir. Everything was insurance. You're comfortable with all the insurance and paper you signed?
Yeah, yes, sir.
Mr. Schwartz?
We're looking at doing this a yearly event.
So once we have, this is our very first one, so yes, so we're thinking even of some other opportunities that might happen that we can give back.
Okay. So suggestion for next year is that when you come in, it's going to be a yearly event to ask for 3 years. We have done that. It'll save you some time. We have done that with other associations also.
Sure. No, I appreciate it. Thank you. Thank you.
Good suggestion.
Mr. President, I have to commend anyone who comes in front of us that shows such great support for our youth. And it's such a wide gap. You know, I mean, you're talking about 5-year-olds to 13-year-olds. So it's really great because that's the kids that really need to get involved in plenty. They need lots of motivation from home, from their teachers, from outside people. And I know you're a busy man, but I have to commend you. That's extraordinary feat. Thank you for what you're doing. The kids are gonna love it.
Well, thank y'all. I really, really appreciate it.
Any other comments? Yes.
Advertising it?
So we will. We are on our Facebook, and then we will call all the schools to let them know that this is available.
What's the date?
November 3rd. It's 5 to 6 o'clock. That is tomorrow. Wait. It might be November 8th. Hold up.
As Mr. Woodward said, he does have too much on his plate.
Let me see. I said November 30th. Back to 0. I was like November 3rd tomorrow. No, November 30th. I was like, I won't even be there.
Minor detail.
Yeah, just a minor detail.
Okay, any comments? Yes, Ms. Babbitt.
So I got the opportunity to go to an event at Nichols in the spring that they had for Bridge to Independence. And I just want to say that I was so touched as the athletic director at Nichols. You had students there from all different sports teams, and they created this tunnel, and the kids walked to, and you could truly see how excited they were. The kids were just elated. The Nichols students were wonderful. You do so much for the community. I don't know if everybody ever stops and says, hey, this is awesome. Like, it brought tears to my eyes to see these kids walk through and just the support that they were getting that night. It was really good to see peers cheering on the peers.
Well,
thank you. I think this is a wonderful thing for our kids in our school system as well.
Thank you so much. I
Any
appreciate it.
other comments?
Thank you, sir.
Any comments from the public concerning this program? Okay, let's vote for the vote. Okay, unanimous. All right, let's go on. Letter C, to consider a request from LA6 Volleyball League to waive the fees for the use of Bayou Blue Middle School gymnasium. Do we have someone to speak on that? State your name, please, and your address.
Harriet Savan, 116 Maple Court, Raceland. I am here as a representative of Bible Middle School. I am the athletic director, the volleyball coach, cheer coach, and track coach, so I pretty much live at Bible Middle School. So we've been, 3 years ago, my own personal children decided they wanted to play travel volleyball. We found our home with LA6. The coaches there have been wonderful to my school team for the past 3 years as my children have been playing LA6. Coach Terry, which she is the owner of LA6, and Coach John have really helped me personally as a coach. Under their influence, my volleyball team over the past 3 years have gone 15-1. We were the parish champs this year for volleyball. So they have been a great help to our school. They have helped me put on clinics before tryouts, and this year we raised $1,560 for our volleyball program by doing a clinic before tryouts with the upper kids, our kids. LA6 gave us a spiking machine that's worth about $3,000 that our school has the use of. Our LA6 club is about 80 players. About half of those kids are from Lafourche Parish. From the Bayou Blue team, they represent Central Lafourche, South Lafourche, LCO, 6th Ward, Lockport. Our travel kids are spread out throughout the parish that come to our travel team. So we reach a lot of the kids throughout the parish, and we're just asking for Bible Middle School to be used as our practice facility. We used to use the Raceland Rec Center. FEMA has taken that, so we don't have access to a facility to practice to. So we're asking, instead of paying a daily fee for them to be able to come and use the gym, to do a one-time donation to the school for $1,200 so that we can use the school there. We're going to host another clinic, so the profits of that clinic will go to the school as well. We will not need any custodians because I will be there. I will open up the facility. I will make sure that the facility is clean for the next day, as the facility is my classroom every day. So I have to make sure that everything is in order for it. So we're just asking the board to waive the everyday fee for a one-time donation so that the volleyball players in.
All right, so it's just not to host tournaments and things of that nature.
No tournaments, just practices.
Just for the practice facility.
Yes,
okay.
sir.
All right. Do we have a motion, Ms. Bourgeois? Do we have a second? Mr. Plaisance, comments? Comments? Mr.
How
Bourgeois?
about insurance and that sort of thing?
That has all been turned in and cleared.
Okay. Yes, Mr. Plaisance.
Thank you, Mr. President. Now, she knows I'm completely on board with this. She has one heck of a volleyball team. I will give her credit.
We did. We had a fantastic year.
Not just year. I mean, I'm sure with someone else's help, but these girls can play. It's very impressive. And I know not all of the kids will go to Lafourche Parish schools at some point. A lot of them do. Lockport kids go there, Bayou Blue kids. I mean, they're from down in Bayou. But I think anything we can get our kids involved in, I'm always going to say yes to. So thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Blaze.
I have a question about the clinic. Is that going to be held at the middle school gym also?
Yes, it is right before we have our school tryouts, just to get the kids practice before they go trying out. They just come in, and we do, this past year we did 5 different weeks, and they came in for once a week for 5 weeks for an hour and a half, and we just worked with them. And before that, it was time for them to try out, because the kids coming into the middle schools, some of them don't have any knowledge of volleyball. They want to play. So by doing that, we give them prior experience than just showing up at a tryout and trying out.
And are the children charged for that?
Yes, that's how our school made the money for it. Bayou Blue Middle School profited the money. It was a fundraiser for my volleyball club.
Are the coaches paid?
The LA6 coaches?
Yeah. There you go. So now we go from the practice to the clinic.
The clinic is not LA6. The clinic is just those coaches come help me. The clinic is Bayou Blue Middle School. They just come donate their time to help me.
Okay. Let's do this. Okay. All right. Any other comments by the board?
I just want to congratulate this young lady for her success this year, along with her coaching staff, for bringing the first parish championship in any sport to Bayou Blue Middle School. Very outstanding job.
People was the #1 fan. Trust me.
Okay. Let's have comments, if any, from the public. All right, this particular vote will be for the use of the facility for practice. Okay?
And the clinic.
Well, the clinic is, the clinic has nothing to do with LA6. The clinic is.
Let's hold on, Mr. Martin.
I just want to make sure that I'm capturing this right. So it'll be a one-time fee for the use of a practice facility, separate and apart from a clinic which the school is authorized to hold. Correct?
That is my understanding. Mr. Adams.
Yes, I will recuse myself from voting for this because my son is the principal at Bayou Blue Middle.
I wonder how you knew that was the first time.
Yeah.
No,
Inside
I want to make
information.
sure I'm not, I went through my ethics training today. I want to make sure I don't violate anything.
Okay, any other comments by the board or public? All right, if not, let's please vote.
Yeah, Mr. Adams, point of order. So, Mr. Adams, you would denote an abstention to the vote, and you've stated your reason, so that's appropriate.
Thank you, Mr. Parliamentarian. We don't pay you enough money, so.
That's all right.
Okay, with that said, motion carries with 1 abstention. All right, let's move on. Good luck with the coming season. Okay, letter D, to consider, I'm sorry. No, with the new business?
Oh, I'm
No.
sorry, I am so sorry. Okay, I'm confused.
Listen, I'm confused enough as it is. All right, letter D, to consider a change order request at the New Thibodeau Middle School to change the existing fiberglass installation located in the gym area of the building to a closed cell spray foam installation in the amount of $74,796. Mr. Plazoff.
Oh, that's, yeah, I gotta go. I'm just kind of like.
Good evening. All right,
Come
The
down.
request is coming on behalf of one is coming on behalf of the contractor. The system that was originally designed on it, in the gym was a plastic membrane underneath the girders. At the roof, the insulation and plastic membrane. At the time of bidding a year and a half ago, the contractor felt sure that he could find somebody to do that. Well, now after everything's said and done, he can't find nobody. So looking at a different alternative, we came up with a system where it's closed cell insulation blown up there. It's going to do one of three things. It's going to do all three things. It's going to help our insulating values of the building, reduce alternative air conditioning. It's going to seal the building where we're not going to lose the positive pressure that we're trying to develop in the building, keep the air viable. And also, too, lastly, it's going to help with the noise continuation in the building in those spaces. So the recommendation would be to go ahead and go with the closed cell installation for a price of $74,769,000.
Can I have a motion to that effect, please?
Excuse me, 69 and 96.
I'm sorry. 796.
Okay.
My bad.
That's fine.
Sure. You have a motion to that effect? Yes?
Oh, yeah, I'll do the motion.
And second? Babin? Any comments from the board? Any comments from the public?
Last one, I promise. Jamie Marble, 116 CLS Lane, Lockport. I kind of researched what you were saying, and what you're saying is extremely true. My concern comes because with everything I researched, and I didn't read it like in the PDF that was on the agenda, that was HVAC brought into this decision as well, because we don't want to hold the moisture because we are a very humid climate. And I know that closed cell is not going to have mold growth, so we wouldn't have to worry about it unless it's on top where the water sits. So if like the roof is coming off or it's leaking somewhere, if there's not like routine inspections done, potentially water could sit on top and potentially mold could grow on top. It's mold resistant, but it's not mold proof in the closed cell. So I'm kind of wondering like maybe if you guys could explain that a little better, because this is a large amount of money. And if we do have to put money into the budget for maintenance to be inspecting it, that is something that should be discussed as well. So I'm hoping y'all can just explain that to me. That's all.
All right, let me say this. Normally, there's no question being asked, but if you'd like to address it, and you feel comfortable, if not, we'll just move on.
Oh, we do have the architect of record in the audience. If he can elaborate, I'll ask him, but really and truly, that might be a question for our mechanical engineer to answer.
Or do you feel comfortable, or if not, you're not obligated? Yes.
No, I know this was a question.
Could you state your name?
Oh, yeah, sorry. Andy Positeri, I'm so used to being up here. Andy Positeri, GFP Architecture, 307 Canal Boulevard, Thibodeau. When we evaluated the request for this change, we did have our mechanical engineer as part of that conversation. And our mechanical engineer, who's the one that calculates the thickness of that foam to make sure our R value or our thermal resistance is the same or better than what we had specified. And our mechanical engineer did recommend a closed cell system. So it's a widely used system. It's a very common practice now here. And this is not, I guess, just for clarification, this is not, the prior system was not a bad system, and this is good. It's a comparison of good to better.
Very good.
So we're confident with this recommendation.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
All right, we've had the public and we had the board. Let's go, please.
Mr. Adams? Yeah.
Vote again.
He just did.
You can just say yea or nay. There's no
Yeah.
Yes.
There we go.
Unanimous. All right. Let's go on.
It's a vote.
That's what you way down there.
Hey, wait, it takes time for that,
You're way down there.
All right, letter E, to review addendum 2 to to the standard form of agreement between Lafourche Parish School Board and Freetown Builders LLC and take appropriate action. Jennifer Tobias.
Good evening. Attached is an addendum to the existing contract for Freetown. There's two changes. We are requesting an extension of the expiration date through December 31st of 2022 or 23, from 22 to 23. And we're also requesting an increase. This was a not to exceed contract for $175,000, and we're asking that to be increased to $350,000.
We have a motion to that effect. Mr. Blazon, second. Mr. Adams. Any comments from the board? Comments from the public? Let's vote on this item, please. Letter F. Consider adopting a resolution expressing support for the Louisiana Association of School Superintendents, LASS, proposal to reimagine the Louisiana Public School Accountability System and urge the Louisiana Department of Education State Superintendent, Dr. Cade Brumley, and the Board of Secondary and Elementary Education, as Bessie, to adopt their proposal instead of the current proposal presented by the Bessie Accountability Working Group in August 2022, and otherwise to provide with respect thereto. Mr. Barton will let you address that.
Yes, sir. I will read the proposal, or excuse me, I will read the resolution. It's rather lengthy, so forgive me, and then at the end, I'll answer any questions. Support of last accountability proposal. A resolution expressing support for the Louisiana Association of School Superintendents proposal to reimagine Louisiana Public School Accountability System and urge the Louisiana Department of Education State Superintendent, Dr. Cade Brumley, and the Board of Secondary and Elementary Education, Bessie, to adopt their proposal instead of the current proposal presented by the Bessie Accountability Working Group in August of 2022, and otherwise to provide with respect thereto. Whereas last year, the Board of Elementary and Secondary Education began conducting an accountability work group, proposed changes to the public education accountability system. Whereas those meetings sought and accepted very little input from public education stakeholders such as teachers, superintendents, and school boards, but rather focused primarily on input from Louisiana Department of Education, LDOE, and a few self-proclaimed education reform organizations, some led by former LDOE staff and Superintendent John White administration. Whereas the publicly stated goal of the accountability working group was to lower the number of high schools earning letter grades of A or B under the current system that has in its core principles been in place since the John White administration. Whereas the LDOE and the self-proclaimed reformers used the mantra that Louisiana high schools and school boards were gaming the system to inflate high school letter grades. Whereas the evidence they cited was, one, the proportion of A and B high schools was higher than the proportion of A and B elementary schools, and those proportions should be the same. And two, TOPS-bound high school students were also taking career and technical classes and the work keys exam, and those students should not be given that choice. Whereas the result was a proposal that reverse engineered the high school accountability formula to deny points for high school students merely being proficient in high school content and graduating on time. Whereas the reverse engineered formula was then overly weighted on high school students doing post-secondary high school work as the only way for a high school to earn an A. Whereas the reverse engineered formula would result in only a handful of select academic admissions high schools earning an A. Whereas when Bessie undertook the new formula at its August meeting, it faced significant pushback that the proposal was bad for students, parents, teachers, and communities. Whereas in response to the opposition, and despite the chiding of self-proclaimed reformers, Bessie urged the LDOE to go back and seek more input from educators. Whereas the Louisiana Association of School Superintendents, with the assistance of the Louisiana School Boards Association, created a proposal to reimagine and completely rework the effective accountability system, not just for high school, but also for elementary and middle school. Whereas the Louisiana Association of School Superintendents accountability proposal focuses on student proficiency of grade level content
Whereas the last accountability proposal uses a pre and post-test model similar to that successfully being used in Florida, wherein students are tested in the beginning of the year and then at the end of the year to evidence how far that individual student grew toward proficiency of that grade level content. Whereas the last accountability proposal aligns TOPS, work keys, and for the first time ever, ASVAB, the Armed Service Vocational Aptitude Battery, so that whether high school graduates move on to college or a skilled trade in the military, they will be considered successful. Whereas the last accountability proposal uses a simple 100-point rating scale familiar to students, parents, and the general public instead of the arbitrary 200, 150, and newly proposed 125-point scales that have been the hallmark of the past and current accountability system. Whereas the last accountability proposal also limits testing to that mandated by the Every Student Succeeds Act, ESSA, noting that Louisiana overtests our students. Whereas the last accountability proposal also recognizes successes that are ignored in the current and BESI proposed system. Special education students learning the basic life and commercial skills that will allow them to enter the workplace, students who continue to strive and earn their high school diploma beyond the expected 4-year window. Whereas the last accountability proposal has resisted running simulations to see what the letter grade distribution would be, as the system was designed to focus on student achievement and not to reverse engineer a result. Therefore, the Lafourche Parish School Board does hereby endorse and expresses support for the last accountability proposal. Further, the Lafourche Parish School Board urges the Board of Elementary and Secondary Education to set the discussion and consideration of the last accountability proposal on the October agenda of the BESI Academics Goals and Instructional Improvement Committee and the full BESI meeting set for October 10 and 11, 2022 respectively. Further, the Lafourche Parish School Board urges the Board of Elementary and Secondary Education, and specifically BESI member Ms. Sandy Holloway, to support the adoption of the last accountability proposal and take such actions as are necessary to move toward implementation of the proposal. Finally, the Lafourche Parish School Board directs the superintendent of the Lafourche Parish School System to deliver a certified copy of this resolution to the Board of Elementary and Secondary Education, each elected and appointed member thereof, Superintendent Kate Brumley, Governor John Bell Edwards, Senator Cleo Fields, Representatives Lance Harris, and each member of the legislative delegation of Lafourche Parish.
Thank you, sir. Is there a motion? Leon? Is there a second? Bourgeois. Comments from the board?
Are we a little late? It said something about the October meeting of BESI.
Yeah, it's gonna be November 10th, right?
Yes, sir. So if I may, in October, this was brought up to BESI. The statement, although awkwardly worded, was referencing something that happened in the past. The next BESI meeting will be in about a week, and this action is imploring them to not adopt the LDOE policy, but to adopt the last policy.
So it will be November 10th.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Peter.
I looked at the proposal from the State Department. It is so mind-boggling. I don't know who could possibly even understand it. And my concern besides that is that I think this may definitely hurt those poorer parishes that might not be able to give the students the opportunity to take college courses or with the dual enrollment courses. And so that would automatically put them at a disadvantage to the other schools that can do that. The last proposal is very easy to understand. I like the idea that it's a pre and post test so that we can actually see student growth, which we were never able really to do with the old accountability system. So I definitely am in support of them looking at last and adopting it.
So I am a dual enrollment teacher, and in order to be qualified to teach dual enrollment classes, you have to have a certain education level yourself. So if you have parishes or you have schools that don't have the teachers with these qualifications, they can't offer dual enrollment classes. So this is kind of like in my opinion a step backwards, because you're asking them for something that they may not be equipped to go ahead and offer.
Any other comments? And I sort of analyzed the whole thing as well, and it reworks the secondary and elementary accountability system. There's 7 concentrate on one. I like the fact of 100% grading. I think that's very, very important as far as parents are concerned. Piggyback on Ms. Petita with the pre and post tests, I think that's important. Also, it gives students a choice on whether to go college, career, or military. And I think that is a viable thing because we know how students are. They vacillate from one to the other. And in addition, our at-risk students can receive certificates, whereas the other plan does not have that into consideration. And I think one of the important things that the superintendent read over is that this particular plan, unlike the other plan from Bessie, did not have a large amount. This plan had a large amount of input from students, parents, supervisors, superintendents, and I think that's important. So all total, I think that this is something that we need to consider and vote for. Any other comments? Mr. Peters?
And I did take time today to email the Bessie members and ask them to definitely look at the LACE proposal. And if you feel like you should do that, very easy to do, get a copy of the letter and mail it off to each one of them.
Okay, any other comments concerning public? Yes, ma'am.
Jamie Markle, 116 CS Landmark Court.
Wait, just slow down a little bit. Okay. All right, we know who you are, but you slow down.
In the last paragraph, Mr. Martin, it said to insert the school name or the district name. My curiosity is how much of this is coming from this board and the superintendent to actually reflect our parish and your constituents and the people and students of our parish? Or is this just a broad statement from LASS that you guys are agreeing to and sending that letter out? Because I would support you all based off of what Ms. Fertitta had said and Ms. Babin, because they made very valid points. This one was easier to digest than the proposed one. But my question becomes, are we being dictated by LASS, or is this actually something that our board is looking at, digging in, and putting their own perspective on as well, rather than just a drafted letter sent from LASS? That's just my concern.
Okay.
Thank you.
All right, that said, any other comments from the public? If not, let's vote, please. Okay, thank you very much. Let's go to the memorial resolutions, on 7, and we'll start with Mrs. Patty Mims, and that's Ms. Thomas.
Ms. Patty Mims was hired by the LaFourche Parish School Board August 26, 1960 as a teacher at Thibodeau Elementary. Ms. Mims remained teaching at Thibodeau Elementary throughout her career, retiring on June 3, 1998. She served the LaFourche Parish School District for 38 years.
Thank you, Ms. Thomas. Yes, ma'am,
Yes,
Mr. David.
Anybody that's been in the LaFourche Parish school system, whether a student, a teacher, whatever, knew Ms. Mims. She was well known for collecting bicycles and repairing them and giving them out to the communities. And she was just a wonderful teacher. Anybody that had her just loved her, and she was so good to all of her students. So, I had to definitely say about Ms. Mims.
Myra St. Pierre, retired teacher.
Thank you, Mr. President. Ms. Myra St. Pierre was hired by the LaFourche Parish School District on January 3rd, 1977, as a teacher at Golden Meadow Middle School. On August 22nd, 1985, she transferred to Golden Meadow Upper Elementary School as a teacher, where she remained until her retirement on May 23rd, 2000. Ms. St. Pierre served the LaFourche Parish School District for a total of 23.5 years. Mr. President, I also would like to make a few comments on the St. Pierre. I had the opportunity of working with her and during my time working with Ms. St. Pierre. She was a very great teacher and a wonderful person and a parent and a great member of the community. She also had the opportunity to serve under Mr. Harold Adams, who was principal at the time, and Mr. Reagan North, who was vice principal. Thank you, sir.
Thank you. And my comment on the St. Pierre is professional all the way, and I really, really will miss her. And she was a good person and a definite positive for the education community. Thank you. Yes, Mr. Adams.
I remember, Mr. Ed Capel, the late Ed Capel was hired by, was employed by the Lafourche Parish School Board, and one of his responsibilities was parish-wide. He'd do observation on English teachers, sort of a master teacher for the parish. And every time he'd do an observation on Myra, he'd come to my office and we'd go over the evaluation. He says, Harold, you've got a jewel there. He says, hold on to her. And Myra, at a young age, had kidney problems and had to have kidney replacement and a kidney transplant. And with something that serious, you would think that her absentee rate would have been high. And it never was. She was at school more than one time sick. And like Ray said, you know, she did a good job, did a very good job, very professional, dedicated individual, and she will be missed.
Thank you. Mr. Claude LeCompte. Mr. Claude LeCompte was elected as a board member on the Lafourche Parish School Board in December 1982. Mr. LeCompte served a 4-year term beginning January 1st, 1983 through December 31st, 1986. Mr. LeCompte was a graduate of South Lafourche High School, class of 1969. He coached and taught at both Grayson Junior High and Central Lafourche High School in the early 1980s. I thought he was also involved a little bit at Gold Medal Junior High School. He left the parish and went on to another parish, I'm not sure which one, but became a principal there. And his last days were spent in Galliano. Excellent athlete, played in college. Also, he enjoyed hunting, enjoyed fishing. He was a close friend of mine, as Mr. Adams as well. And his family and community will definitely miss Mr. LeCompte. Mr. Adams.
He was in Dorita with his principal. Right. And like you say, he will be missed. Great guy, love Claude. Good sense of humor, just a good all-around person.
Thank you, sir.
Mr. President is also a member of the Golden Medal Alliance Club.
Yes, he will. Yes, he will. Thank you. Thank you for saying that.
Mr. President. Also, one thing about Mr. LeCompte, Claude, and the 4 members from down the bay knew him quite well. Jovial, even through his last days. And that's something I'll always remember.
Thank you. Anybody else?
Mr. President, I move that these resolutions be adopted by general consent and that a copy of these resolutions be recorded on a special page of our minutes.
No objections, let the record reflect that these resolutions were adopted by general consent and will be recorded on a special page of our minutes. Okay, with that said, we'll turn to the superintendent's update. Mr. Martin.
Yes, sir. I'll begin with facilities. Mr. Blazos mentioned it earlier. We are, in fact, making some progress. A lot of the work that needed to be done on our most heavily damaged roofs is currently underway, that being South Lafourche High School and LaRose Rudolph Middle School. So that work is being done, and we're very happy to see that done. Also important to a lot of folks are athletic fields. We are still on pace to have our softball and baseball fields throughout the entire parish ready for play in January. So we're excited to make sure that all the lighting, all the fencing, and I was told this week that even the bleachers will be done for all of those facilities. So the kids will have a place to play. The only thing we may not have is a place to sell hot dogs, but I'm sure we can figure something out. We are also working with All South to make some progress at Bayou Bluff Elementary School and Golden Meadow Middle School, but that's going to be slow. And we are likely going to be bringing to Mr. Blazos's committee a plan to potentially move forward with the areas of Golden Meadow Middle School that we know are going to be repaired, which is the big 2-story historic section, as well as the gymnasium. The sections of the school that we are in flux over are the two-story annex building and the portables. We can begin making permanent repairs to the historic complex to make sure that it's preserved and kept the way it was before the storm hit, while waiting for those decisions for the rest of the campus. So be on the lookout for that. The second paragraph in this report is always staffing, and it could be the first, second, third, and fourth paragraph, because every campus that I visit, staffing is the #1 concern, and it's more than just teachers, cafeteria workers, custodians, you name it. It's a challenge to find people that are willing and eager to work right now. Bus drivers, another area that we're still struggling. So we consolidated routes to make it work, but we're still in a position where we can hire 20 bus drivers tomorrow. And so we are actively recruiting bus drivers, we're actively recruiting custodians, and without a doubt, we are actively recruiting teachers. On the teaching and learning front, I can tell you that we're very heavily focused on our young learners. Today's third graders had a heck of a first few years of school, right? So in the first grade, you don't learn important stuff, you learn the most important stuff. In second grade, you learn the second most important stuff. And so these third graders are right now being exposed to things, in many cases, for the first time, and it should be the third year they're being exposed to them. So we're heavily pushed into and supporting those teachers in those early grades. We want to focus on those kids. And it's easy to say you need to, quote, fill the gaps, but, you know, when you look at a 5-year-old in the face, it's easier said than done. It takes a lot of hard work, a lot of exposure to high-quality curriculum, through a really high-quality teacher presenting it well. So Ms. Ankele, Ms. Jones, Ms. Hodson, and the entire principal staffs for our lower elementaries, we've made this a focus. They're focused on it heavily, and it continues to be what keeps us up at night. And in the final paragraph, looking ahead, we've talked about it enough tonight, but I'm going to close with the only thing I'm going to be focused on, other than our current third graders, is getting this tax passed in March. The future of the school system hinges on our support and getting this done, because without the right staff and without support of the staff that we have, this job becomes harder and harder. I believe that not supporting what we're going to present to the voters in March 25th represents an incomplete understanding of what we're presenting, because it is a very well thought out plan. It, for the first time in recent history, involves universal support from not only local governments working together to keep the tax burden of LaCouche Parish down, but also the business community has had input and buy-in, and many local governments from Fort Fouchon to Chack-Bay have had input in this plan. So I do believe we're going to get universal, unilateral support for this plan, and the parish president and I dedicated to making sure that we educate the public as to what it is we're doing. It is complicated. It does have a lot of moving pieces, and we will simplify it to a few talking points, but at the same time, we need to make sure that every word of the proposition is well explained so that people can support this extraordinarily worthy endeavor that's going to not only retain the quality teachers we have that are outpacing every other district in the region. They are paid 6th in the region. They are ranked 1st in the region for performance. That has to be acknowledged and it has to be recognized. So we need to both retain and recruit the teachers that are leaving the colleges of education. So that's going to be my focus. I'm happy to do it, and I will answer any questions about it.
Any comments?
Mr. Blaisdell, thank you, sir. I just have one just regarding that. Communication is the absolute key to getting the tax passed. Getting everybody on the same page and knowing, actually, you don't have to know all the ins and outs of it because it is very complicated. But if they can know the gist of it and know why, and essentially what tax is being used for and where it's going to move to, the explanation is going to be the key. Obviously, to the general public, the business community, but people like the Chamber of Commerce, all the entities that are all involved in whether it passes or not, because that's the ultimate key is communication. So thank you.
Any other comments?
Just what you said on staffing earlier. Mr. Morton, I think what we did earlier tonight in conjunction with Lafourche Parish is just trying to do, I think this board is trying to address that. And I think it's important that the public understands that this isn't a new tax. It's just realigning tax. It's just shuffling things around. Nothing's, I think for the most part, it's going up. And I think if we do that, we can solidify on keeping the best of the best here, as I said earlier. And secondly, I know the board knows this, but I want the public to know that Mr. Bernard had a medical incident a couple of weeks back, and it would have been easier for him to stay home, but he thought it was important enough for him to be here tonight to do what he has to do. So thank you, Mr. Bernard.
Let's look at the tentative dates of future meetings. Policy. Yes, I'm sorry.
116.
No.
Jamie Marlboro, 116, Celeste Lane, Lockport. Something that y'all might want to consider when you're addressing the public on this tax or whatever you guys are doing, maybe break it down in dollar and cents. Because right now, teachers can be offered $10,000 to $20,000 more to go to St. Charles Parish. And if it's only going to make a damper of only $3,000, it's like we're just throwing money away. We're doing things that aren't going to make an equivalent or a big dent in keeping them if it's all about getting money in here. So if y'all could break down for someone like me that's looking at like, okay, what are you saying? If it's going to be comparative to what these other school districts are paying, then let's talk. But if we're only going to put $3,000 or $4,000 back into it and not 10 to 20, then we really need to look at what we're doing here as a community and as a board and working together to figure it out, because we're just going to keep going a little by little, and it might, like if it does more taxes like Brett's saying, or the garbage thing like we've heard, break that down for us in that sense, so then we can say the end justifies the means.
Thank you. Any other comments with that?
As a teacher, I'm sure anybody in Lafourche Parish, even if it's just a $30,000 increase, I'm really sure they'd be really happy to have that at this point. Like as a teacher, if you, in the proposal, in the meeting itself, we said $4,000 for teachers, $2,000 for employees. At this point, I truly believe that any teacher that you are willing to give them $3,000 or $4,000 will be very appreciative of that. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other comments? Go ahead.
Ms. Devin, I totally agree with you. And if it's only $3,000, then let the teachers decide how they want to throw it away. Thank you.
At least we try.
Yeah. Wait. You've had your comments, man. Let's see.
Yes, there is no way that we can come close to the salaries of St. James Parish and St. Charles Parish. Their tax base is unbelievable because of all of the plants that are on the river. We try as we may, we'll never get there. And we have to consider too the number of students that they educate is not even half of the students that we educate in the Lafourche Parish. And so we are, I'm sure, as Ms. Babin said, teachers will be appreciative of any type of raise that we can give them. And we would aspire to give them $10,000, but there's no way that we have a tax base that would support that. Thank you.
With that said, there's no motion or any votes on that. And Mr. Superintendent, if you could send that out, that is a report, appreciate that as well. All right, tentative dates for future meetings. Policy and Procedure Committee, Tuesday, November 15th. Transportation Committee, Tuesday, November 15th. Academics Committee, Tuesday, November 15th. Insurance Committee, Wednesday, November 16th. Finance Committee, Wednesday, November 16th. Land and Facility Management Committee, Wednesday, November 16th. Advisory Committee, Monday, December 5th. Regular board meeting, Wednesday, December the 7th. Before we adjourn, there's going to be some general announcements that are going to be made off the record, okay? So once we adjourn, if the board can just stay a few minutes, there's a couple of things we'd like to off the record. Yes, Ms. App? Okay, that's it. Yeah, I'm sorry.
Okay. I want to give a shout out to the students, especially the seniors at South Lafourche High School. Just when you think things are not going their way, COVID, hurricane, I don't know if y'all heard, but for their homecoming dance, the power went out. So all these beautiful young ladies got dressed up to go for about a half hour, is what I've been told.
Handsome young man.
And handsome young men. I can't. And so just hang in there. That's all I want to say. Hang in there. I'm hoping to attend the graduation like all of us are, and that it goes off without a hitch. You know, just smooth as can be. So if you see any of them, hug them, kiss them, do what you got to do. Pat them on the back. Get them to keep their chins up and keep grinding, because unfortunately it happened again. So, okay, thank you.
That's it.
One other comment. Happy birthday, Miss Gwen.
Happy birthday.
With that said, this meeting is officially over.